Although several engines have been around for a while, it is becoming increasingly clear that there are more efficient ways to provide the necessary power to transport our cars from point A to point B. Toyota believes that hydrogen power is the way to go and that its new engines will render electric vehicles obsolete. It is time to examine the development of Toyota's engines in more detail and discover some other factors that contribute to Toyota's position as a market leader. How does Toyota achieve this? And can Toyota's hydrogen-powered internal combustion engine replace electric vehicles? Let's find out. Toyota is pursuing a multifaceted strategy to being carbon neutral, and the Japanese automaker may find success with it. Toyota has been a pioneer in hybrid and plug-in hybrid automobiles since it introduced the groundbreaking Prius in 1997. These vehicles paved the way for the present electric vehicle boom. Despite its heritage, the Japanese company has been reluctant to embrace the electric trend head-on. The controversy surrounding Toyota's opposition to the switch to 100% electric is rather thought-provoking. The ban on gas-powered cars by 2035 has already been authorized by legislators in California, Australia, Canada, and the European Union. So, automotive makers are under some pretty intense pressure these days to switch from gas to electric automobiles, especially as efforts to reduce carbon emissions keep escalating. But, Toyota actually showed its disobedience pretty publicly by declining to ratify the COP26 agreement, which calls for the use of electric vehicles only by the year 2040. The corporation has purposefully dragged its feet on this whole issue, arguing that the rush to fully electric vehicles has left a lot of important considerations out of the conversation. Akio Toyoda, the former CEO of Toyota, honestly received a lot of flack for taking such an unpopular position. Jaguar, the British luxury automaker, actually said publicly that it would go entirely electric by the year 2025, and that was back in February 2022. Cadillac and Volvo have also stated that they'll only sell electric vehicles after 2030. Meanwhile, Toyota keeps making headlines for appearing pretty uninterested in a market where so many rivals, including Honda, Ford, Mercedes, Volkswagen, and General Motors, intend to phase out gasoline-powered vehicles in favor of electric vehicles. Toyota has a reputation for being among the first to adopt new technologies, so honestly, taking this path surprised us. However, its justification is really compelling. Toyota worries that making the change over to all electric vehicles will not be feasible anytime soon. Toyota said that EVs are just overhyped and that having too many of them could be dangerous. His opinion is that the high price of electric vehicles combined with the lack of a supporting infrastructure renders their widespread adoption impossible. However, all of this is now hidden from the public because electric vehicles only make up approximately 1% of the global auto fleet. If the number of electric vehicles rises, reality will begin to set in slowly. The biggest issue to deal with when electric vehicles flood the market will be the demand for electricity to meet the load that EVs will create. By 2030, the United States needs to expand power output by 40%. In other words, the current electricity supply chain needs investments totaling around $100 billion. Even if some regions of Europe and Asia currently have sophisticated grids as a result of increased electric vehicle demand, it would still be far from enough if every car owner switched to electric. Akio Toyoda has voiced reservations regarding electric cars, focusing instead on the necessity of hydrogen-powered technology in vehicles. He predicts that this new engine will destroy the entire electric vehicle market. Aside from the limited range of electric cars, he has also expressed concern over the environmental effects of battery production and disposal, as well as the lack of infrastructure for charging. Indeed, Toyota's arguments make a lot of sense. First, there is not enough power to support electric vehicles. Second, fossil fuels are the main source of electricity in the world. Therefore, increasing the number of electric vehicles will not decrease emissions. Rather, it will just change their source. His detractors may all be mistaken based on Akio Toyoda's assertion that carbon, not combustion engines, is the real enemy here. From a broad perspective, it appears that electric vehicle adoption is definitely not uniform worldwide. While certain markets like those in Europe and China are moving more quickly than others, the United States is kind of a laggard. Then there are markets that are far behind with little to no EV infrastructure, like, Africa. One of the main issues with electric vehicles, automobiles and trucks in particular, is sound. Nothing really compares to the thrill of pressing the gas pedal on an old classic muscle car such as a 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS with a large block 454 or a 1969 Ford Mustang with a 428 Cobra Jet. When an automobile is about to launch, you can hear the sound of the carburetors opening as the fuel pours into the chain. Feel the power flow through your chest and experience a complete burst of adrenaline. Electric vehicles cannot provide that, but the hydrogen-powered vehicle can because it operates in a similar manner. Nearly every corner in the country is home to a tiny local repair business. But as electric vehicles gain in popularity among customers, you will not have that option any longer. You might be able to repair their electric engines by going online and watching a few YouTube videos, but honestly, it is strongly advised that you take it to a certified mechanic who is experienced with the most recent technology. You know, the amazing thing about hydrogen-powered engines is that they're purely mechanical and are actually quite similar to the regular fuel-powered engines we're all used to. So that basically means the little neighborhood shops you trust with your car will still be able to fix them. But honestly, hydrogen does come with its own set of challenges. It's very combustible, kind of tricky to handle and store, and when it burns, it produces nitrous oxide, which isn't ideal. So Toyota's approach to carbon neutrality is, well, a bit more diverse. They're considering a bunch of different technologies to reach zero emissions, unlike pretty much all the other automakers who are putting all their eggs in the electric vehicle basket. This mindset looks more and more prophetic in light of the fact that European nations are seeking ways to reduce their energy use due to the conflict in Ukraine and its effects on energy supplies. In fact, Switzerland has taken it a step further by advising electric vehicle owners to reserve the usage of their vehicles for emergencies like errands or supermarket runs. This policy may even become law. In the end, the choice belongs to consumers. Both battery, electric, and hydrogen-powered vehicles have vital roles to play in a sustainable transportation future. It's unlikely that one will completely replace the other. Instead, a diverse portfolio of solutions will likely be necessary to meet the varying needs and infrastructure capabilities of different regions and consumers. Toyota's steadfast commitment to developing hydrogen technology serves as a crucial counterbalance to the industry's overwhelming focus on battery, electric powertrains. This strategy fosters healthy competition and ensures that alternative pathways are explored and refined. While the current momentum is undeniably with battery electric vehicles, the long-term race is far from over. Technological breakthroughs in hydrogen production, storage, and distribution could rapidly shift the competitive landscape. Ultimately, the success of any technology will be determined by its real-world performance, cost, effectiveness, and environmental impact. The market is not a zero-sum game, and there is room for multiple clean energy solutions to coexist and thrive. The competition between electric and hydrogen power sources will ultimately benefit consumers by accelerating innovation, driving down costs, and providing more choices for sustainable transportation. The journey to a carbon-neutral future is complex, and Toyota's multifaceted approach highlights that there is no single simple answer to this global challenge. You know, there is a route to success for hydrogen-powered cars, but it might ultimately be obstructed by electric vehicle dominance. Hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles include cutting-edge technology that has a lot of potential. They also have a number of benefits over conventional electric vehicles, including greater range and faster charging or refueling. However, for hydrogen-powered cars to become widely used, a number of technological developments are required. At the moment, it costs a lot and requires a lot of fossil fuel to produce hydrogen. Infrastructure for hydrogen refueling stations is also lacking. Most importantly, the popularity of non-hydrogen electric vehicles may be preventing hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles from taking off. It works by splitting hydrogen atoms into protons and electrons. The electrons generate electricity while the protons combine with oxygen to form water, the only emission. Hydrogen cars store compressed hydrogen in reinforced tanks, feeding it through a fuel cell stack that powers electric motors, releasing only water vapor. In the end, the choice belongs to consumers. Both battery electric and hydrogen-powered vehicles have vital roles to play in a sustainable transportation future. It's unlikely that one will completely replace the other.